Welcome back to the second segment of Inside Boxing's Throwdown. I'm Aurelio Martinez, my co-host Stephen Johnson. Okay, in this segment, we're going to talk about upcoming fights for this weekend. Okay, and of course, we've got the Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. versus Reyes. Okay, little known about Reyes other than he's from Chihuahua, Mexico. Got a fantastic record. Obviously, Steve, the only thing I'm talking about is how does Chavez Jr. honestly, how does he continue to hang on and to stay into that top limelight when you got folks like we just talked about, Thurman and the other guys that are scraping and scratching and doing everything they can to get into this limelight. Here you got a Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. who, with all respect to him, has not wooed the boxing public like his father. He's not even close to being on the same status of his father. I mean, not even close.
Well, what radio?
So, but he's still there. He's still there in the top conversations, making big money. Why?
Well, I think that the first thing you have to remember is that it seems to me, and I could be wrong, but it seems to me that Chavez Jr. relishes the idea that so many people hate him. They really do, and I think a lot of it has to do from the legacy of his dad. And there are so many people that hate him, and they hate him because it seems like he just takes the sport so nonchalant. This dude is smoking weed and eating Twinkies. And
it's
all
like
this
he's
stuff.
not serious.
It's like he comes but you know what? He's a tough out, man. This dude has got a lot of heart. We've seen him. He's got a lot of heart. I can't put my finger on what it'll take to get rid of him. I think it really takes somebody to really just knock his nose off for him to be done. Well, but that's not happening. He's a tough out.
We talk about that a lot. I talk with all our boxing fans, and we talk about Chavez because, he has the opportunity to become the next great Mexican hero, following his dad's footsteps. And to be honest with you, he has what it takes to do that, but he just doesn't execute. He doesn't, like you mentioned, he doesn't go for it. He doesn't give the 100%. He's happy. He's making money. He's happy where he's at, and I'm not sure why. And you mentioned that he relishes people hating him. Well, I don't really think so much that the Mexican people, his people, hate him as much as boxing fans in other parts of the country, U.S., U.K., everyone else, in the world outside of the Mexican people, because they're the ones that really say, wait a minute, this guy's close to being a bum. Why is he out there?
And I don't think he's close to being a bum.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what you're hearing.
Yeah.
But the Mexican people, they're saying, well, no, if he just gets his head out of his butt,
right,
he's going to do something. So, he had a tough fight in his last couple of fights, and now he's coming in to fight this Reyes, which is little known, a good record. Mm-hmm. I don't see much of
Reyes having a chance.
Yeah, much of a big competition.
Well, I think like you said, Reyes is 33-2. He's 6'1". Okay, I don't think he's coming in to lay down. This is being held down there at the Don Haskins Center down there in Texas and El Paso, Texas. But radio, let's talk about something real quickly before I lose it. This fight card is switch up between Premier Boxing Channel. We'll have one fight card that starts at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Free TV.
Another one is going to be start at 10 p.m. Eastern, but 8 p.m. Mountain Time. That's on Showtime. So one's going to be free. Yeah. You're going to pay for one. What do you think about that?
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting because it's unique in how this entire promotion, this card is being promoted. Because the undercard, you got Carl Frampton. We're going to talk about him and his fight coming up. And also, I forget who else is
Chris
on
Arreola.
Chris Arreola.
Yeah.
Chris Arreola. That's going to be on the CBS TV, which is the free TV.
The one that comes on
that's part of the Premier Boxing free TV. And then that starts, like you say, at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern time, on the same promotional event at the Don Haskins Center,
yep.
You're going to have Julio Cesar Chavez, but that's not going to be free. That's going to be, like you say, on Showtime. Well, CBS owns Showtime. Time Warner, they own Showtime. So obviously they decided to split it. But I'm not sure how people were going to stay at the venue
6 hours.
6 hours
Plus.
To wait for the main event. Maybe they're going to leave and go have brunch or dinner or something and come back. I don't really know how that's going to work, but my feeling is that most of the people won't even come until the Chavez fight, being it's in Texas and all. I mean, I just think so. But it's interesting. It's an interesting format.
Well, that'll be unfortunate, like you said, if they just wait to come for, because on that undercard, real quick, they're going to have one of the kids that we have to watch. McJoel Arroyo. He's from New York. He has a brother. I think his brother's name is McDavid, but they're twin brothers, and they that fight is going to be for the vacant IBF World Super Flyweight title.
Wow.
That's the undercard is not going to be bad. Okay, and I'm talking about the one at 8 p.m. That's the one with. That's what I'm saying. It's going to go past 10 p.m. Eastern. It might go to midnight. But on that undercard, where we have with the Frampton fight, we got Chris Areola. We haven't heard from Chris in a while, and it's going to be interesting to see what he brings. But and that the Frampton. Can we go to Frampton right now?
Let's talk about Frampton.
Okay.
So we might want to make sure, because I think that's going to be one hell of a fight.
I think Carl Frampton. He's from Ireland. And he's this fight is for the IBF World Super Bantamweight title. Okay, 12 rounds. Carl Frampton is. I think Carl's like 5'5", 5'6".
Yeah, he's 5'5". He's the shorter of the two. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this fight is going to be interesting because this guy that he's fighting, Alejandro, what is his name? Alejandro Gonzalez Jr.
Gonzalez.
He's 25-1-2.
Well,
okay. How tall is Alejandro?
5'7". Okay.
How old is Alejandro?
22 years old.
How old is Carl Frampton?
28. 28. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, I see upset written all over this. I see upset written all over this. So Frampton is the champion, right? He's coming in. A couple of things for Frampton. Number one, he's making his United States debut.
Right.
Okay. He hasn't fought in the United States, so he's fighting in the United States. He's fighting a kid that's young, hungry. 22 years old, hungry, and obviously has some talent. Okay, taller than him, 5'7". I mean, if you look at it outside of who the champion is, the advantages have to be with the younger man. I just don't know if Carl's going to be able to come in and handle fighting in the United States. The United States is the money. Yeah. So he's going to have to come and win if he wants to continue to make big money, because he won't go back to Ireland or anywhere else to make the kind of money he'll make as if he become a well-known boxer, a superstar in the United States. So, and don't forget, Alejandro's thinking the same thing. So I just kind of see upset written all over this fight.
I see just the opposite. I see Carl Frampton chomping at the bit to get over here and prove to America that he is the best. Okay, the 6-year age difference, the 2-inch height, I think that works in favor of Frampton. I think Frampton is experience-wise. As a matter of fact, you're predicting an upset.
Yeah,
I'm predicting that Carl Frampton stops Gonzalez,
and he might. I mean, I'm just predicting that on paper, because I really don't know much about Alejandro. But I tell you what, I know these Mexican fighters that come to fight, and fighting at the Don Haskins Center in Texas is going to be filled with Mexicans. He's going to have the energy from the crowd. I just think I see everything going his way.
And that's why I'm saying I think that I wouldn't dispute what you're saying about this young kid being young and hungry. He's going to be on TV. He's like you said, all those Mexican fans are going to be there. They're going to be cheering. I think that's even more impetus for Carl Frampton to show everybody what he can do. And what we've already laid it out, we're expecting this to be a great fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you what. You guys need to tune in this weekend to watch that fight. Not a whole lot of action outside of that promotional event in Texas, but it's probably going to be enough to carry the weekend and have boxing fans happy, because we've got some good ones. Watch the Areola. You know, let's talk a little bit about Areola. Too late. Is he good? I mean, can he still make a run for the limelight?
Well, just because we only have a few seconds left, let me just say this. I think all of us know that when Chris is in shape, he's a tough out. Okay, I don't know if he still has the desire, to come in. He says it all the time. I'm going to come back stronger and I'm going to be in shape. That has kind of worn thin over the years. I think, I don't know if he still has the mindset that he can be back in the mix. But for Chris, I think this is about money. I think he still sees that chance and opportunity to get payday, and he's trying to make sure that he stays in the mix.
Okay. I'm not sure it's about money. He can't be making a whole lot of money for this fight outside just an opportunity to stay in the limelight, because there's a lot of heavyweights coming into play that he can actually get in the ring and make some decent money. You got Deontay Wilder, you got all the new heavyweights coming in. So if he kind of keeps his foot in the door, he can have a chance to make it. But he's got to perform.
Well, let me ask you one thing.
He's got to perform, and he hasn't been performing. He's always satisfied with the loss, and you can't be satisfied with the loss when you're in this game.
But once again, okay, he'll be in El Paso, Texas. Okay, a lot of fans there cheering for him, and Al Heyman Premier Boxing Series Radio, they're giving away money like his Fruit Loops.
Wow.
Okay, so I don't know how much he's getting paid. For him, like we said, he's not in that echelon. If he gets $100,000, it's a great day for him, and I cannot see him not getting it the way they've been paying money.
He's getting at least that.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I'm sure he's getting at least that. But I like Chris Areola. Okay,
I think we all do.
I think everyone loves him. Yeah. Boxing fans, how could you not?
He's one of the few guys where you say he's actually good for the sport.
Yeah,
he always comes with something that's going to be interesting.
I wish him all the luck. I wish he would kind of get that killer instinct in him. I really think when you see boxers go into this mode, I can't help but feel, this is my coaching, my training side coming out, is where you get a boxer that comes in and just refuses to listen and refuses to try new things. I mean, coaches need to start teaching different things, and he has to try to execute and learn different things and pull out that killer instinct. You can't be happy with where you're at in boxing. You got to always try to excel, and even when you're on the top, you can't be happy. I mean, because there's a bunch of lions out there that are trying to tear you apart. So
you go from being the hunter, being the hunter to the hunted.
Yeah. So I wish him all luck. I love him. I mean, I really do. So I want to wish him the best. I want to see him back in the limelight. I want to see him back in the ring with some of these big names.
How about Chris Areola and Shannon Briggs? Just throw that out there. Okay. All right, anyway, I think that'll end segment 2 for us.
That ends segment 2. So maybe come back and watch us. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the amateur scene. Got a lot of movement. Of course, they're gearing up for the Olympics in 2016. And that whole thing, that whole pathway is kind of making its way. So we're going to come back and talk to you a little bit about amateur, what's going on, and kind of bring you up to date.
But before we get to the amateurs, we're going to touch briefly on some action, women's action that was down in Fort Lauderdale.
Still
Florida.
amateur.
Florida. Well, no, because there was another thing that happened.
It's still amateur.
Along in Florida, but women boxing. And it's not amateurs when we talk about it. But we're going to touch about that. But anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with segment 3 on Inside Boxing's Throwdown. In the meantime,
keep them hands up.
Keep them up.